Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 36. Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. Udama Bhava Pishuna Mala Valgu Hasa Vrindavaloka Nihato Marano Piyasam Samukya Chapam Achahat Pramado Thomas Ta Yasyendriyam Vimatitum Kuhakair Na Sekuhu Udama Bhava Pisunamadava Gahasha Vrindavaloka Niyato Madano Piyasam Samukya Chapam Ajahat Pramado Tamasta Yasyendriyam Vimatitum Kuhakair Nasekuhu Udamabhava Pisunamala Valguhasa Vidavaloka Nihato Madana Piyasam Samukya Chapam Ajahat Pramado Tamasta Yasyendriyam Vimatitum Kuhakair Nasekuhu Udamabhava Pisunamala Valgahasa Vrindavaloka Niyato Madana Piyasam Samukya Chapam Ajahat Pramado Tamasta. Sing with everyone. Don't try to win a race. Yasyendriyam Vimatitum Kuhakair Nasekuhu Mataji's. Udama, very grave. Bhava, expression. Pishuna, exciting. Amala, spotless. Valguhasa, beautiful smiling. Brida, corner of the eye. Avaloka, looking. Niyata, conquered. Madana, Cupid, or Amadana, the greatly tolerant Shiva. Api, also. Yasam, whose. Samukya, being overpowered by. Chapam, bows. Ajahat, gave up. Pramada, woman who maddens. Uttama, of high grade. Ta, all. Yasya, whose. Indriyam, senses. Vimatitum, to perturb. Kuhakai, by magical feats. Na, never. Seku, was able. Translation. Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all their magical feats and attractions, they cannot agitate the senses of the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The path of salvation, or the path going back to Godhead, always forbids the association of women, and the complete Sanatan Dharma or Varnashram Dharma scheme forbids or restricts association with women. How then can one be accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is addicted to more than 16,000 wives? This question may be relevantly raised by inquisitive persons really anxious to know about the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. And to answer such questions, the sages at Naimisaranya have discussed the transcendental character of the Lord in this and in following verses. It is clear herein that the feminine attractive features which can conquer Cupid, or even the supermost tolerant Lord Shiva, could not conquer the senses of the Lord. Cupid's business is to invoke mundane lust. The whole universe is moving, being agitated by Cupid's arrows. The activities of the world are being carried on by the central attraction of male and female. A male is searching after a mate to his liking, and the female is looking after a suitable male. That is the way of material stimulus. And as soon as a male is combined with a female, the material bondage of the living entity is at once tightly interlocked by sex relation, and as a result of this, both the male and female's attraction for sweet home, motherland, bodily offspring, society and friendship, and accumulation of wealth becomes the illusory field of activities, and thus a false but indefatigable attraction for the temporary material existence which is full of miseries, is manifest. Those who are therefore in the path of salvation, foregoing back home, back to Godhead, are especially advised by all scriptural instruction to become free from such paraphernalia of material attraction. And that is possible only by the association of the devotees of the Lord, who are called the Mahatmas. Cupid throws his arrow upon the living beings to make them mad after the opposite sex, whether the party is actually beautiful or not. Cupid's provocations are going on even among beastly societies, who are all ugly looking in the estimation of civilized nations. Thus Cupid's influence is exerted even amongst the ugliest forms, and what to speak of the most perfect beauties. Lord Shiva, who is considered to be most tolerant, was also struck by Cupid's arrow because he also became mad after the Mohini incarnation of the Lord and acknowledged himself to be defeated. Cupid, however, was himself captivated by the grave and exciting dealings of the goddess of fortune, and he voluntarily gave up his bow and arrow in a spirit of frustration. Such was the beauty and attraction of the queens of Lord Krishna, yet they could not disturb the transcendental senses of the Lord. This is because the Lord is all perfect, Atmarama, or self-sufficient. He does not require anyone's extraneous help for his personal satisfaction. Therefore the queens could not satisfy the Lord by their feminine attractiveness, but they satisfied him by their sincere affection and service. Only by unalloyed transcendental loving service could they satisfy the Lord, and the Lord was pleased to treat them as wives in reciprocation. Thus, being satisfied by their unalloyed service only, the Lord reciprocated the service just like a devout husband. Otherwise, he had no business becoming the husband of so many wives. He is the husband of everyone, but to one who accepts him as such, he reciprocates. This unalloyed affection for the Lord is never to be compared to mundane lust. It is purely transcendental, and the grave dealings which the queens displayed in natural feminine ways were also transcendental because the feelings were expressed out of transcendental ecstasy. It is already explained in the previous verse that the Lord appeared like a mundane husband, but factually his relation with his wives was transcendental, pure, and unconditioned by the modes of material nature. Udamabhava Pishunamala Valguhasa Vrinavaloka Niyato Madanapiyasam Samuya Chapam Ajahat Pramadotamasta Yasyendriyam Vimatitum Kuhakayar Nasekuhu. Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all their magical feats and attractions, they cannot agitate the senses of the Lord. Om Jnanatimirandasya Kiranjana Shalakaya Chaksur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. So here, the attraction of the queens is given, but Lord Krishna, being the supreme transcendental personality of Godhead, transcendental means he's not affected by the modes of material nature. Krishna was not affected in a sensual way by his 16,108 wives. For ourselves, we are attracted to this material world as long as we're not pure. Nunam pramatak krute vikarma. People are mad. In this material world, everyone is mad after sense gratification. And because of that madness for sense gratification, as pointed out here in the purport, people become attached to iha yasya. How does that go? They become attracted to wife, sons, land, wealth, and ultimately this body, thinking I am this body, that this body is me, all in all. Pumsam striya bhavame, pumsam striya, good for you. The line that instructs about the attraction, ato, griha, chaitra, sitapta, vitayar, janasya mohoyam ahamameti. One is attracted to wife, sons, land, home, attracted to country, and ultimately to my body, thinking ahamameti. Janasya mohoyam ahamameti. Thinking I am my body. This is me. But actually, as we learn from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, Aham Brahmasmi, I'm spirit soul. I'm not this body. This body is temporary. We're given this body by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the law of karma. What is that verse? By the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the law of karma. First word. No one? By the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Janma Isvarya, no. What is that? Karma Nendriya. Karma Daiva Netrena. Jantur Deho Upapataye. Striya Pravishta Udaram Pumsareta Kanashraya. By the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the laws of material nature, karma, one is given a particular body in which to enjoy and suffer. This body is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the laws of karma. And no matter how much we try to enjoy within this material world, we only have a certain amount of enjoyment and a certain amount of suffering. That is already given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, the pure devotee, he's not attracted by this material world, by this Janmaisvarya Shruta Shri Edamana Madak Puman, by this sense gratification. Just like the story is there of Haridas Thakur, he was sitting in his hut near Benapole, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. He was chanting so many thousands, hundreds of thousands of names of Lord Krishna, the Hare Krishna mantra, every day. And people were coming to visit him as a great saintly person. And this landowner of the area, the person who owned the properties in the area, Ramachandra Khan, became very envious of him. And he wanted to embarrass him and have him arrested. He came up with a plot to send a prostitute to allure Haridas Thakur away from the chanting. So the prostitute went to the place of Haridas Thakur, and he was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he was not at all moved by the attractiveness and the allurement of the prostitute. On the contrary, he told her, "You have a seat, I have to finish my vow of so many 100,000 names of Lord Krishna. You just wait." So he kept chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the prostitute sat and waited and waited. And then at the end of the night, he apologized. "I'm sorry I couldn't fill your desires, but I was so busy chanting. Come back tomorrow and I'll fulfill your desire. I promise." So she went back, reported to Ramachandra Khan. "He's not ready yet. He was chanting. But tomorrow I'm going to get him. I will make him fall from his vow." Even in modern day India, some few years ago, one movie buff sent some prostitutes to a so-called very advanced yogi in India. And sure enough, the so-called advanced yogi fell when the girls came and allured him. And the person was there taking the video at the time, so that when he turned it into the police, even today in modern day India, this rascal yogi was arrested and put in jail for a long time, few years. Is a true story. I can tell you more details after class. Of course, he came out of jail and still they're worshiping this yogi. But he fell down, so-called advanced yogi, by the allurement. But Haridas Thakur was such a great devotee, Namacharya, of the holy names of the Lord, that when the prostitute came back the next day and tried to allure him, he was still chanting his new vow for the day, the new day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he told the prostitute, "Wait until I finish." And actually, by the time, before he could finish, the prostitute said to him, "I have to confess, I was sent by the rascal Ramachandra Khan to have you fall down and have you arrested for falling with me. But I can't go through with it because you are such a truly saintly person. So Haridas Thakur instructed her. I would have left immediately because Ramachandra Khan didn't want me here. But I stayed just to deliver you. Now you should go give away all your possessions. You come back and you stay in this place, little distant, and in front of, you worship Tulsi and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So the prostitute left. She shaved her head, came back and started worshiping Tulsi and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra as her guru, Haridas Thakur, had instructed her. So this is the power of the devotee of the Lord. I've told this story many times, but maybe the new bhaktas haven't heard. I was at Port Authority in New York with a friend of mine, Sankirtan devotee Sura Prabhu, distributing books. It was time to go, so I went to the locker in the Port Authority and got the box of books. And I saw that Pragosh was talking to a woman who looked to be like a prostitute. So I went close to see what he was saying to her, in my envious way thinking, I'll catch him flirting or making some wrong statement. But he was saying to her, she asked him, do you have some time? Are you free now? We can go. True story. And he said, well, it's 5:30 now. When we get home, I have to shower up, and then it's time for Sundar Arti. After Sundar Arti, we have Bhagavad Gita class till about 7:45, and then right after Bhagavad Gita class is Krishna book reading and hot milk. And after the hot milk and Krishna book reading, I take rest. So I'm sorry, but I'm very busy. This is a true story. She made her home there in the Port Authority for picking up men. And this man bewildered her like no one else. She couldn't believe his story. She couldn't even understand. Hot milk and Krishna book? What does it mean? What is this fellow talking about? Good-looking guy, youthful guy. In those days we were in our young 20s, 23, 22. And the woman she didn't take up at the time. I don't know if she's chanced now. But at least he was not allured by this prostitute. He was not shaken from his vow of Sankirtan, Sundar Arti, showering, Bhagavad Gita class, Krishna book. That's why that's there. Devotee is so busy, there's no time for Maya. We're always busy. Oh, I'm sorry, Prabhu, I have to work in the deity kitchen. I'm sorry, Prabhu, right now I'm busy cleaning the temple. Right now I have to go. Constantly engaged. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Constantly engaged in chanting and devotional service. I'm sorry I have to finish my rounds. I have no time for Maya. I have no time for sense gratification. The spiritual master gives us so much seva and so much busy morning program. I'm sorry I have to go to take rest by 8 o'clock because I have to wake up at 3 o'clock to attend Mangal Arti and chant my rounds and Guru Puja and Bhagavatam class. Always busy, whole day of service. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is divyam. He's transcendental. He's never affected by the modes of material nature. He's never attracted to sense gratification. He is attracted by the loving sentiment of the service of the devotee of the Lord. The bhavagrahi janardana, the loving sentiment, that is what Krishna accepts. And ourselves, if we stay busy in Krishna consciousness. Lord Shiva, he was attracted by Mohini Murti. Mohini Murti came to Shiva, and Shiva was wondering. Even he was with Uma, his wife, beautiful wife. Mohini Murti, the personality of Godhead, incarnate as the most beautiful woman, attracted Lord Shiva to the point where she was bouncing a ball and running, and Lord Shiva was chasing her. And while she was running, her garments from the wind and from Lord Shiva chasing came free. And Lord Shiva became completely bewildered. He was so bewildered that he gave up his duty as Lord Shiva because of the attraction of Mohini Murti. So everyone in this material world, from Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, to the insignificant ant, to the Indragopa germ, is attracted by sense gratification, is attracted by material sense gratification. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one who is constantly worshiping that Supreme Personality of Godhead, is not affected, is not touched. Just like a lotus flower, Bhagavad Gita states, is untouched by the water, so the pure devotee and Krishna are untouched by the modes of material nature. A lotus flower has cilia on the bottom, if you've ever seen. And it floats on the water. Most flowers you put on the water, they sink. You go on the water, you sink. But the lotus flower is so unique. The cilia keep it so that it floats on the water. So similarly, the pure devotee of the Lord and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they don't sink into the modes of material nature, but they float. Srila Prabhupada was floating. Who is that man? He's beaming. One person said at the Atlanta airport. He was floating through the airport and said, "Is that your guru?" He's beaming. He's beaming like the sun. Krishna is beaming. The pure devotee is beaming because they're untouched by the modes of material nature. So our business, therefore, is to stay 100% busy, because we're not so much beaming at this point in life. Little beam, what do you call the low lights, the low beams. But we can develop into the high beams by the grace of the spiritual master and Krishna, by 100% engaging in the devotional service of the Lord and giving our all love and devotion, bhavagrahi janardana, all of our sentiment, all of our devotional sentiment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Yeah. That's a very good question. He made the vow, just like we vowed to our spiritual master. And he made the vow to engage in devotional service, cent%. One time, devotee said, Prabhupada, I want to go to the forest because the Matajis are driving me crazy. And I can't remember the exact, Prabhupada said that women are everywhere. And you have to learn to tolerate. Even you go to the forest, you'll be agitated by some sense gratification. But one has to become divyam, transcendental, by the vow to our spiritual master and by constantly engaging in service. There's nothing else. By that constant engagement, the Lord will give us the mercy to be able to go beyond sense gratification, not be attracted to this material world. We may be attracted, but we have service. Obviously, Pragosh, the prostitute in Port Authority, she was very pretty. She was very attractive and she was dressed amazingly. I myself was shaking holding the books. But he said, we have all this work to do, and then I got to take rest because I got to get up from my... I'm sorry, I'm busy. Haridas Thakur said, as soon as I finish my rounds, I'll fulfill you. So because we have made vow to the spiritual master and we stay busy in devotional service, that saves us from whatever attraction to this material world. There's attraction, pick up your beads, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Chant immediately. Go on Harinam. Engage in service. Run into the kitchen and start cooking a preparation for the Lord. All of these activities. Stay very, very, very busy. Never a moment. Yesterday we wanted to get someone to go to the warehouse to pick up the several pallets of Bhagavad Gita that we're going to be distributing. So we were making phone call to Yogamaya Prabhu, and he said, no, I'm sorry, this devotee is busy, that devotee has duties in the kitchen, this one in the deity kitchen, that one has to go and cut up the veggies. So many activities. No one could even go in the vehicle to pick up the books, so Brigupati volunteered. Well, it's raining, I'll have to go. So this is the idea. Let's stay very busy, always chanting the mantras, the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, refreshing our memories, always engaging externally in actual practical devotional service. Bhava Grahi Janardana. All glories to Sri Guru and Guru.